Sometimes the people who love us most try to warn us, and we ignore them. In this video, we're talking about Queen Elizabeth's final thoughts on Meghan and Prince Harry and how the people around Harry tried to wave the red flag for years before things unraveled. But before we get into it, here's the intro. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. The article I want to go through today was published on July 7th, 2025, and the title is Queen's Uncharacteristically Damning Verdict on Meghan. Balmoral guest claims the late monarch raised eyebrows with her remark on Harry and his wife a month before she died. The late Queen allegedly saw through Meghan and claimed her romance with Harry had become a complete catastrophe just weeks before her death in September 2022. Prince Harry and his wife have always been at pains to stress that they enjoyed a warm bond with the late Queen, despite a rift with the other senior royals that has only deepened over the years. I really love that in this second paragraph, they're referring to Meghan as his wife. And it's an interesting thing to think that Harry and Meghan are pushing this narrative that everything was so great with the Queen, so great that they named their daughter the Queen's adored, everlasting nickname. And the fact of the matter is, none of that is true based on so many people that have come forward over the years. All of this is being brought up again because royal biographer Sally Bedell Smith posted on her Substack Royal Extras about conversations we had with her Majesty's late cousin, Lady Elizabeth Anson. Lady Eliza, as she was known to friends, told Miss Bedell Smith that Harry had been rude to his grandmother for 10 minutes during a meeting about his wedding, and Meghan refused to disclose details of her dress, leaving the monarch saddened. I'm going to do another video about this, about why narcissists, this is a pattern I've observed, that they keep things that you would share with people ordinarily, they keep it secret. And we've even heard it straight out of Meghan's mouth that she advised women on her latest podcast, if you know your baby's name, don't share it with anybody so that nobody has a chance to give an opinion. I think there's many reasons why this happens with narcissists, and I'll go through those in a future video. The article continues and says her comments echo claims made previously in the Spectator magazine that relations between Meghan, Harry, and his grandmother were rather more complicated than the Sussexes have made out. According to a source, the Queen made some strongly worded remarks about Meghan and Harry's union to guests at Balmoral just a month before she died. The source said it was out of character for the Queen, but she saw straight through Meghan. At the drinks before dinner, a small group were talking to the monarch, and she explained that Harry meeting Meghan had become a complete catastrophe. By this stage, Harry and Meghan had stepped down as working royals and were living a new life in Montecito. When Megxit was announced in January 2020, the late monarch released a statement saying, Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much loved members of my family. That is not to say that relations between the couple and the monarch were always on an amicable footing, with things beginning to sour during the planning of the couple's wedding, according to Lady Liza Anson. And this is another thing I've noticed with narcissists. Once they know they have you in the bag, all of the promises that came during the idealization or love bombing stage are out the window. And I'll get into this in a little bit, and I'm actually going to give you a personal example. The article continues, the Queen's first cousin who arranged the Queen's 80th birthday party allegedly said just days before Meghan and Harry's wedding, we hope, but don't quite think she is in love. We think she engineered it all. Meghan was apparently full of charm and appeared natural, intelligent, and thoughtful after she became engaged to Harry in 2017, but as the wedding approached, Meghan allegedly became increasingly bossy, and Liza said the Queen was privately very worried. The article goes on to say that when we spoke 2 weeks before the May 19 wedding, Liza had just heard from the Queen. The number one lady, I call her Jemima, says the jury is out on whether she likes Meghan. My Jemima is very worried. In Liza's view, Harry is besotted and weak about women. Liza apparently said, It's worrying that so many people are questioning whether Meghan is right for Harry. The problem, bless his heart, is that Harry is neither bright nor strong, and she is both. I want to mention that even bright and strong people fall under the spell of narcissists. In fact, I feel like it's more of a challenge to them. When my ex and I separated in 2020, it was soon after that I found out that he's a narcissist. And I knew after piecing things together, because really, when those rose colored glasses come off, things become so clear. I knew that whoever he dated would be amazing. They would be smart, beautiful, kind, intelligent, because I feel that that's the kind of woman he wanted to break. When people describe Meghan as having been charming at first, but then suddenly turning controlling or calculating, that's not just gossip. That's textbook behavior for a malignant narcissist. I believe Meghan is a malignant narcissist because she behaves exactly like my stepmom, who is a malignant narcissist. And you can see that a lot of her behavior, the goal is to inflict pain on people, in my opinion. The closer that malignant narcissists get to securing what they want, status, marriage, influence, the harder it is to keep the mask on. That's when the charm drops, the entitlement kicks in, and the real personality starts leaking through. And what's chilling is that some of these shifts were noticed before the wedding, not years later, not with hindsight. That's not a smear campaign. That's what it looks like when a mask starts to slip at the finish line and the people closest to the situation begin to quietly sound the alarm. Going back to this observation that the closer the narcissist gets to securing what they want, the harder it is to keep the mask on. In the first 4 years of my relationship with my ex husband, the first 2 years being dating and the next 2 years being in marriage, he ended the relationship with me 9 times. Now that I'm out of it and I've gained knowledge about all of this, I recognize that I was in the discard stage with every single one of those breakups. And yet I still went back every time. Most of the time, those breakups didn't last very long. But on the ninth one, I was ready for divorce. We had already been separated for 2 months or so, I would say. I was doing well. I was getting my confidence back. I was getting my life moving again. And he wanted to get back together. The truth is, I loved him. And after he made a couple of promises, things he intended to follow up on, I decided to go back. Now, I take complete accountability that I gave chance after chance after chance. The best predictor of future behavior is relevant past behavior. But on this ninth time, I told him, if you end it again, I will not be back. In that last time, also, he promised that he would go to therapy. And guess what? He went to therapy, and as soon as he knew he had his hooks in me again, he stopped going. And this is, I feel, what happened with Meghan. Once she knew she had it in the bag, she stopped keeping up appearances. What's the point? She's already secured it. She's weeks away from the wedding. For the rest of this video, I want to talk about the people that are around us that see the things that we don't see. When several people with no personal agenda raise quiet, consistent concerns about your relationship or your behavior within it, you have to pause and ask, what are they seeing that I'm not? According to these reports and so many more, Harry ignored these signals. He reportedly shut down conversations, was dismissive even to the Queen, and pushed forward as meaningful relationships fractured behind the scenes. This isn't about taking sides, it's about personal growth. It is very difficult to be successful if you shut out feedback from the people who've known you the longest. Yes, they might not always be right, but sometimes they're the only ones with enough distance and love to tell you what you've gone blind to. In this case, the red flags weren't petty gossip. They came from people with nothing to gain, and the cracks that they pointed out, they've only widened with time. I want to close this video out going through a self checklist. Are you missing a red flag? Do you dismiss criticism outright or do you reflect on it? Do you tell yourself or does your partner tell you they're just jealous or they don't get it? That might be shielding a hard truth. Have multiple people raise the same concern in different ways? Repetition from unrelated sources is a pattern worth exploring. Do you feel like you have to defend your partner constantly, even to yourself? Defense mode can block honest reflection. Are you drifting away from longtime friends or family, and does it feel isolating and not freeing? Abusers often isolate. Even subtle distance can be a warning. Are you making excuses for behavior that would concern you in someone else's relationship? If you'd worry for a friend, worry for yourself. Do you feel like your gut is quiet or is it muffled? Healthy relationships don't silence your inner voice. Is your partner open to your growth or are they threatened by it? A healthy dynamic supports and doesn't control. So, if there's one takeaway from all of this, when multiple people are quietly trying to tell you the same thing, listen, even if it's hard, especially if it's hard. The people around you aren't always wrong, and sometimes they're trying to save you from a catastrophe you can't see yet. Just remember, red flags aren't always loud. They're often the quiet truths we refuse to hear. I'm curious to know what you all think about this. Please drop your thoughts in the comments. If you feel comfortable sharing your story, feel free to do that as well. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline in lieu of super chats and super stickers. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether that's emotional, physical, or just hard to name. Their information is on the screen should you need to contact them, and you'll find the link to donate in the description of this video. Every little bit helps, and it means a lot. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.